Hey, good day, everybody. Welcome back to our Genesis class, live from Jerusalem with Rabbi Chaim Goldberg in the Noahide World Center. We missed him last week. He's dealing with things he's got to deal with in Israel, but it's always a joy to get together with him and hear Torah as it was originally intended. So let's just jump right in and see how the rabbi's doing. Shalom, Rabbi. How are you today? We're going to turn the class over to you and let you take it away.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good to see you all. Wow. Long time no see. I missed you all. Good to see you. From wherever you are in the world, from the British Columbia, from Europe, from England, whatever it is, good to see you all. South America. Hans, good to see you also with us. Yeah. Okay, so first of all, I really missed all of you last week. It was, I don't know if you've heard or what exactly you're hearing there in the United States or wherever you are in the world. We have a very profound debate in Israel, an inside debate about what exactly is going to be, I will say, the face of our country. Okay, I will say it like that. Is it going to be more with religious ideology, or it's going to be more secular? This is mainly the main debate that we have. And this is all the demonstration and all of those things. And last week, Rabbi Sherki was invited to speak in front of a group of people from those who want more the secular side. Now, it's not that they're so against the religious side, but they're asking to separate between the Hebrew nation and the religious things. So we were there for more than 2.5 hours, and Rabbi Sherki spoke with them. It wasn't so easy. It wasn't easy. And I want to remind us all that Paulus, okay, wrote down to the people when he invented the Christianity. He said, give to the empire what is related to him, and to God what is related to God. And he started the differentiation, the separation between religious and I will say nationality. This is something that in the Hebrew nation we don't really know. Okay, in the Hebrew nation, we're doing almost everything on the nationality level. And we said it more than once, when God is saying to Abraham to go out from his father's land, and he's telling him that he's going to become a great nation. There isn't any separation between the religious behavior, we'll call it like that, and the Hebrew nation. More than that, almost all of the things that we are holding are related also to the nationality. Let me give an example. Do you know how many times it's being mentioned that God took us out from Egypt in the Torah? Who knows the number? It's okay if you don't know the number. It's okay.
Is it 13?
No.
More.
I will give a hint. It's much higher than that. But I understand that it's a guess. So to guess, I will show you. I will show you one or two things, but we have 50 times, 50, okay? That is being mentioned. God is saying, I took you out from Egypt. And we have another 11 times that is mentioned that we went out from Egypt. Okay, but the main part is those 50 times. Let me show for a moment. I will show you for a moment why are we keeping the Shabbat. It's written down. I don't need to. It's not something that I need to invent. Let's read it. You know. Okay, let's go to Exodus 20. Let's read for a moment in Exodus 20. Why do we keep the Shabbat? Please, Dan, read verse number 8.
Verse 8 says, remember the Sabbath to sanctify it.
Now, a question is the reason. Now we have the reason. Please read the reason.
Verse 11, it says, "For in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and sanctified it."
So the reason is related to whom? You can all answer. To whom? Why we need to remember the Shabbat?
It's related to Hashem taking the day of rest on the seventh day.
It's related to the Hebrew nation, to other nations, to the animals. To whom it's related?
Everybody.
Everything in this world, right? So when we're keeping the Shabbat, it's not only related to us, it's also related for the whole world. We are testifying that God created the world in 6 days and we stopped. When someone is remembering the Shabbat, and we advising people to remember the Shabbat with lighting candles, okay, for example, those 2 candles, or to do a good meal with the family, putting all the devices aside. When we're doing this because we are all connected to the Shabbat. But the Hebrew nation have another reason why we're keeping the Shabbat. Okay, let's read it. It's not in Exodus. It's in Deuteronomy chapter 5. Oh, jump. Yes, excellent. Please read verse number 12.
12, "Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as the Lord your God commanded you."
Now let's read the reason here. Please read verse number 15.
15, "And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, that the Lord your God took you out from there with a strong hand and with an outstretched arm. Therefore the Lord your God commanded you to observe the Sabbath day."
Why do we need to observe the Shabbat?
God took you out of the Egypt.
Where we were in Egypt, okay, a few thousand years ago, we didn't control our timing, okay? We were slave who worked for 7 days. So every week for 1 day, in the national level, okay, it's not a religious thing, it's a national thing. In the national level, we are all stopping, saying, look, we are masters. We are not slaves anymore. We are controlling the time. Why are we doing this on the 7th day? Because it's also related that God created the world. So we have here inside, we have 2, I will say, levels of reason. One is that we need to rest, or it's giving us a rest day. So this is a personal level. But we have also the national level. The national level is we were slaves in Egypt, and God took us out. Now we are masters, we are slaves of God. So therefore, we're stopping 1 day. Nobody will tell me to work. Nobody will force me to work. I want to be free. Freedom of choice. Okay, I will call it like that. So again, the Shabbat is a national reason. Let me show you something else. I will show you. So we have 50 times like that it's being mentioned. You went out from Egypt, keep this and keep that. Okay, let me give you another example. And we will start to realize, all of us, that all the commandments that we are doing are on the nationality level. Okay, we are not doing commandments on a personal level. So if we will do this, we will come to the world to come. Of course, that if we are connected with God, so we will stay alive, not only in this world, but also in the next world, okay, in the world to come. But this is an outcome of the thing. It's not that we are doing all sorts of things to get the world, the next world, the world to come. We're doing things because this is, our nationality. I will say it like that. Let me give another example. Okay, let's jump for a moment to, let's go back to Exodus. I will show you a few examples. Exodus, and let's go to Exodus. I think it's number, it's a bit, we have that. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Here it is, number 30. Okay. Please read for a moment. Verse number 2.
2 says, "Sanctify to me every firstborn, everyone that opens the womb among the children of Israel, among man and among animals. It is mine."
Okay, it's interesting. We have in the Babylon Talmud, we have a very long part of this. Yes, it's explanations and the halachot, all sorts of exactly how to do this thing. But why do we need to do that? What is the reason? The reason is not, I will say, some sort of a caprice of God. He decided, he has some sort of ideas. Please read verse number 3.
3 says,
no, just a moment. Read the verse 11 and 12.
11, and
12 and 13, okay?
And it will come to pass, when the Lord will bring you into the land of the Canaanites, as he swore to you and to your forefathers, and he has given it to you, that you shall give over to the Lord whatever opens the womb, and every miscarriage that opens the womb of an animal which will be yours, the males belong to the Lord. And every firstborn donkey you shall redeem with a lamb, and if you do not redeem it, you shall decapitate it, and every firstborn of man among your sons you shall redeem.
Okay, so we have here, it's explaining very simple what to do. Now, donkey, we're not putting on the altar, that's all. So we need to exchange it with the lamb. Fair enough. Now, it's very clear. In verse number 11, it says that the kids will ask us, why are we doing this? Please read verse number 11.
Or 14, it says, and it
14,
will come to pass.
14, yes.
Yeah, and it will come to pass if your sons ask you in the future, saying, what is this? You shall say to him, with a mighty hand did the Lord take us out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
And now, again, look, it's a national religious behavior, okay? This is why we're doing it, okay? Please read verse number 15.
15, and it came to pass when Pharaoh was too stubborn to let us out, the Lord slew every firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of beast. Therefore I slaughter for a sacrifice all males that open the womb, and every firstborn of my sons I will redeem. Rabbi, can you explain the definition of that word redeem there? What is they implying?
Yes. I will tell you because thank God, with a lot of blessings, my son his wife gave birth a few weeks ago, and on Passover, we're going to do this mitzvah, this thing. First of all, in a moment, I will explain this, okay, exactly what is happening or how it's happening, but the most important thing is to understand that this thing that we are doing, it's on a national level. We passed something that God gave us mercy because we did what we were supposed to do. Therefore, God didn't kill our firstborn people, and he didn't kill our firstborn animals, what he's saying here. So since then, we're saying, okay, we want to celebrate it. We understand that, as a nation, we got rescued from this punishment. So we need to celebrate this thing. What exactly is a redeem? Is going to the Kohen and to the priest, okay? And he's saying, basically, the firstborn is supposed to become a priest. I won't go inside to all of the story, why it happened that we didn't, not the firstborn or not the priest, okay? It's only the priest that came from the destiny of Aaron, and not from all of the firstborns of the people of Israel. But he's supposed to become a priest. So the husband, the father is coming to the priest and is saying to him, look, I prefer to redeem him, that he won't be a priest, that he will stay mine, and you will become instead of him the priest in the Temple Mount. And the priest, the Kohen, is saying to him, okay, so you need to pay me. And he's paying something like 5. I won't go inside to all of the payments. He's paying something like 200, or say something like $50, something like that. And he's redeeming, he's getting back his son, and the son is not part of the priest. He's not going to another family to become a priest. This is how to redeem. I won't go inside to all of this. It's, I can explain much more. We can go inside to this thing. The most important thing is to realize that when we are keeping the commandments of the Hebrew nation are related to the nationality celebrations that we have. There is an ideology of the nation in behind it, not only on a personal level. It's also giving us in personal explanations, or we do understand personal explanations to a lot of things that we're doing. By the way, one of the things that is coming here also, please read for a moment, verse number 16.
16 says, and it shall be for a sign upon your hand and for ornaments between your eyes, for with a mighty hand did the Lord take us out of Egypt.
What mitzvah we're speaking here, do you know? What mitzvah, what commandment the Hebrew nation is putting on their hands and between their eyes?
Is that the tefillin?
The tefillin, exactly. Now, do we all know what exactly the ancient Rome people, those who were masters, what exactly they put on their heads? Do you remember?
They used to have a laurel wreath.
Some sort of leaves.
A wreath
right?
of leaves.
Exactly. Leaves, okay? So the masters had leaves on their heads, remember? And the slaves didn't have anything on their heads. Fair enough. What exactly the Egyptians kings had on their heads to show that they are the kings? Who remember that?
They have a serpent. Image.
They had a serpent, exactly. It was from a snake. Usually they had a snake on their head. Okay. Now, when we went out from Egypt, okay, we wanted to show, just a moment. Let me see what it is exactly. We wanted to show that we are not slaves anymore. So we wanted to put something on our heads. Like all the ancient world, putting on their heads, something is showing that we are not slave. But we have a problem. What is the problem? The problem is that the Egyptians, when they put something on their head, they were putting a snake on their heads, okay? But we have a saying that already Balak said on us. So please read for a moment verse number 23.
23, for there is no divination in Jacob and no soothsaying in Israel. In time it will be said to Jacob and to Israel, what has God wrought?
Divination, okay. It's an interesting translation. It's translating not the main word, but also some sort of explanation of the word, okay? Nachash. The word is nachash. What is nachash? Nachash is snake. There is no snake in the Hebrew nation. Okay, so we can't put like the Pharaoh did, some sort of a snake on our head. So what are we putting? We're taking and sanctify a cow that's something that we can put on the altar of the Hebrew nation, okay? And we organizing it in a very long way. It's something like 3 years of organizing it to become the tefillin on our head. And the tefillin is showing that we are not slave anymore. We are not under the capture of Pharaoh, but we are freed. We have freedom to live as our own nation again. So we're putting this feeling on our heads because it's something that is related to the nationality of the Hebrew nation going out from Egypt. 50 times like that inside the. Let me show you another one. I will show you another thing, okay, that is related with this. Let's see here. Yes, it is.
Rabbi, I'm sorry, I didn't understand the no divination part.
No, it says in the Hebrew language, it says Kilo Nachash veYakov. There is no snake in Israel. Now, I can explain this a bit more. Why exactly the Egyptians had snake on their heads, and why we are not putting snake on our heads, but instead of that, we're putting something that is, you saw the tefillin once. It's a black. Let me show you in the internet, okay? For a moment, what is tefillin? I'm sure that you saw, but never mind.
No, I understand that part. The part that I don't understand is they use the word divination.
Because so I will explain this. Let me explain this, okay? Just a moment. I will explain this. Let me close for a moment. Let me explain this.
Lara, it was because the serpent in the garden was the Hebrew word nakash.
Yes, you're right, Dan. And let me explain this. We're trying here when we're learning to learn it a bit with more meaningful understanding, a bit more profound. So let me go one step ahead, okay? I think I spoke about this earlier today, but we can say this again. What exactly is the main, no one here. Maybe someone here, just someone, no, she's not here. What exactly is the main, I will say, debate between the Hebrew nation and the Egyptians? What exactly the main debate? The main part that we disagreed with them, and therefore at the end we won the battle and we went out from Egypt. We need to realize, we need to understand, and it's the same thing today, in a bit more, I will say, nice way. I will say that is being explained. The Egyptians basically said there is no freedom of choice. The world have the laws of nature, and you can never break them. They are very strict. And I will ask you, Lara, I will ask everybody here, did you ever saw the fire? Okay, put your hand inside and it was cold like the water, frozen water. No. Fire is warm, water is cold, okay? You can't break the laws of nature. And in Egypt, especially in Egypt, where they were drinking through the Nilus, the river of the Nilus, and the Nilus gave every year, it's going up in the winter and going a bit down in the summer. That's it. You don't need anything. You don't need rain. You don't need anything. You're working through the Nilus. And the laws of nature are very strict. You can never defeat them. You can never change them. Okay? The laws of nature have what we call the cycle of life. So it's not only the cycle of life for each one of us, okay, that we're starting your life from the beginning, we're growing up, we're getting older, whatever it is. The cycle of life is also where, for example, the lions, they're eating antelopes. Right? And after they're eating the antelopes, I will say the body that is stayed from the antelope so that the lions didn't eat, and other animals are eating, the bones, whatever it is. Sorry for the example, but they're taking out, or we'll call it like that. First of all, part of it is becoming buried inside the ground, and part of it is going outside from the lions, from the backside of the lions, like in the toilets, but not on the toilets. And after the lions are dying, what is happening? The lion is also being part of the nature of the ground, and there is, I will say, not wheat, but all sorts of things are growing up from this ground. And who is eating it? The antelope. So we're speaking about a cycle in the nature that is saving the same things inside. This cycle is being, I will say, in a metaphor way, on the snake. What is a snake? Snake is something, round, that is also all the time going from one side to the other side, going backwards, whatever it is. So it's everything there is in a circle. When the masters of the Egyptians put snake on their head, it was because they said, you need to realize that we are in a cycle of life and we cannot break it ever. Till now, everything is clear? Okay, fair enough. The Hebrew nation said, no, this is true. This is 100% true. But where is it true? Only to the body part. Everybody is more than welcome to visit the hospital and to see that the body part that we have, the body, it doesn't have any, I will say, other option than working exactly on the system of the nature. Okay? I can give a lot of examples. I think that all of us know a lot of examples. We're all grown up already, and we know. One very small example, if there will be some sort of air inside where the blood is going, God forbid, so the person will die because when the air will come to his heart, he will die on the spot, right? So we know there are all sorts of things inside the body that are very strict. They are very connected to the nature. But we're saying, look good now what I'm going to say. An example, okay? If we will go to the ox, big ox, very strong, very big, and we will ask ourselves, how exactly is he eating? He is taking his head to the ground. So he is part of the cycle of the nature. But we, as human beings, what are we doing for eating? We're sitting down and we're bringing the food to us. We have some sort of a will that is not bounded to the laws of nature. Right? We have also another part inside us. We are not only a body. We also have something different than all the other animals. We're sitting and we bring the food to us because we are breaking the cycle of nature. We have the possibility to overcome the cycle of nature. Where do we see this in the most highest way? In the Paralympics, that we have after the Olympics, where we see all sorts of people who have a lot of disabilities on one side, in the body side, but the willpower of themselves are so strong, so they're managing to do incredible things. And this is what we said to the Egyptians. So the Egyptians said to us back, no, you're not going out from Egypt. Nobody can go out from Egypt. This is a cycle of life, and this is a cycle of nature that you're supposed to stay as slaves. And we said to them, no, we're going out. And they said to us, you won't be able to. So God went with them step by step. Maybe I will have the time. We have the time. I will show this in a moment, where God showed them step by step how the nature is accepting this idea that the people in this world have the ability to overcome the nature. So instead of having on our heads only something that we call this nachash, okay? Only something that is, I can preserve what will happen because I know exactly how the world is functioning. We're saying, no, you can cut. Okay, this is why the tefillin is very straight. You can cut the string of the laws of nature and behave differently. So we're putting on our head something that is not the nachash, it's not the snake, it's not circle, putting something straight, and we're saying, look, the human being, they have the possibility to break this chain of the normal thing. Now, I want to say one more step. all of us who are sitting here in this room, it's including me, it's including all of you also, managed to break, I will say, the normal thinking and to try to think a bit different. It's also including me, okay? If you will go to most of the people of the Hebrew nation, you will see that they're saying to themselves, I don't want to deal with anyone who is a Noahide, a non-Jewish person, something like that. I want to stay with my community, with myself, okay? And I went out. But also all of you who are sitting here, instead of staying, I will say, in the comfort zone without discussing anything and saying to everybody, don't touch me, I don't care, I don't want to think even differently, you managed to start to ask questions and to decide to move from the comfort zone to somewhere else. So you managed to break the laws of nature. You see? So this is why the Hebrew nation, when we want to say that we have freedom, so we'll put something on our heads as a freedom, we're not taking the snake that is around, that is very, going around, also can go from his mouth to his tail, whatever it is, and also he is in a circle. We're taking something straight, with feeling, and putting on our heads. But why are we doing this? Because this is some sort of a commandment that God decided to put on us, or it's something very much more profound that we want to show in the national level. We went out from Egypt and we're thinking differently than them. Starting to realize what's happening here. Everything that is related with the commandments are related also to the nationality of Israel. Let me give another example, but it happened much before. It happened much more before the Hebrew nation went inside to Egypt. Okay, I will give another example. Yes, here it is. Let's go to Genesis 4. Right? Let's see. Let's see from here. Very good. Please read verses number 25, 26.
25. And Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the break of dawn. When he saw that he could not prevail against him, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip became dislocated as he wrestled with him.
Okay. Of course, we didn't learn it yet, and whatever it is, and there are a lot of, I'll say, levels of understanding, but the most simplest level of understanding is that Jacob here became, a triple on his leg. He can't walk on his leg in a way, in a normal way. And then now one of the consequences of this thing is, please read verse number 33.
33. Therefore the children of Israel may not eat the displaced tendon which is on the socket of the hip until this day, for he touched the socket of Jacob's hip in the hip sinew.
So why are we doing this, I will say, commandment? It's a commandment. It's something that till today, along all of the history, we took out this specific part of the animal and we didn't eat it. We're not eating it till today. Okay, but why are we doing it? Because it's something that happened to one of our fathers. Okay, so it's a national situation. It's not a religious commandment. It became also religious, okay, for us. But it's not true to say it became religious. It's a national thing. All the things that we are doing in the 613 commandments are related to that, to the thing that we are national and not that we are religious. The thing that when do you know when we started to become religious? You won't believe it. When there was the rebellion in France, okay, with the liberty of France. So there was a debate, there was a question inside the parliament, French parliament, what to do with the Jewish people. Until those days, we're speaking about the 17th century, until those days, the Hebrew people were called those who were exiled out from Judah. Judah, the country Judah we had. So they were called, and there was a debate what to do, because we're speaking about freedom and everybody's supposed to be, to get rights and everything else. So the decision was, and it's written down to today in the books of the Parliament of France, that they are willing to give the Hebrew people civilian rights under the condition that they won't demand anymore to become a nation. Okay, that they will put aside all their nationality, aspirations, whatever it is, and they can be Jewish people, and the nationality is supposed to be French nationality. And since then we have Jewish French, some Jewish German, Jewish in all sorts of places. And after 200 years that we lied to ourselves that we are separating between the nationality and between the religion, so some of our Hebrew people also believe that we need to separate those things. But the truth is, it was never like that. I just showed you a few things, how everything is related to the nationality. Nothing is only a part of the specific private person. More than that, let's go one step ahead. You won't find in all of the Torah, in any place, that if you will do good deeds or you will do the commandments of God, you will come to the world to come. You will get the world to come. It's not written anywhere in the Bible. I don't know if you've ever thought about this. The only thing that the Bible is giving us as a promise that if we will behave in the right way, we will have more, we'll sit down in the land in an honor way, we'll have more wealthy, we'll have more rain, and all those things is written down. It's never written down in the Bible that we will have, that we will achieve the world to come. It's not that we won't achieve the world to come, but the truth is, nobody came from there to tell us what's happening there. So the main thing is, what is happening here now? Of course, we're getting connected with God, so we'll be also in the world to come. We're starting to realize what's happening. If there are any questions, this is the time. If not, we're going to continue on to go another step. Everything is clear till now?
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, excellent. About this part, do we have any questions? If not, I'm going to go another step. I will ask before we go to the verses. I have a question to ask. Let's say, for example, that two people will come to Biden and will ask him to move. I can't say the World Trade Center today, okay, but to move all the NASDAQ of the United States, to move it to India. What do you think will happen with those people that will come in this demand? What Biden is going to do to them? What do you think? You're very polite. I think he's going to put them also inside, all sorts of crazy places, close them down for a few years, something like that, right? Especially if those people will be 80, 83 years old. Think for a moment. Now, really, the Egyptians were the masters of the world for almost 500-600 years. Babylon, on the other side, was also a very big nationality, okay? The Egyptians were they were giants. They were really big. We today, we learned so many things from the Egyptians, okay, about the but the stars, whatever it is, a few things that we've learned from the Egyptians, how to build our buildings. Till today, we're working on those things. Two people, one is 80 years old, Moses, the other one is 83 years old, are coming to Pharaoh and telling him, look, all the people that are building up all those things, that are all the economy of the Egyptians, they are working for the economy of Egypt. You need to let them out. And they're going to go to the Hebrew land, not far from you. Okay, it's not far from Egypt. And they're going to replace you. Okay, the truth is, if you think about this for a moment, that Pharaoh was supposed to kill them on the spot. Right? Reasonable thing, reasonable behavior, with all of the respect. I understand both of you, you're a bit old. This is enough for you in life. Go away from you, from this world. Don't crap me that you need to take all of the finance resources that we have, human resource that we have in Egypt, those people who are working for us 7 days a week, 365 days a year, for almost more than 80 years. Don't tell me that you want to take them out and they're going to replace us. You know, be a bit reasonable, Moses and here we're finding, I will say, the greatness of Pharaoh, that he said to them, you need to prove me that the Hebrew people are so important, and then I will let them go. If you won't prove it to me, I can't let them go. And they started to discuss this thing. And the discussion is very hard because Moses and Aaron are going to prove him with 10 pledges that they are right. Now let's start to realize what's happening there. I don't know if you ever thought about this, but the pledges look from time to time, when you're looking at these, saying to yourself, what is those things, on the pledges, the frogs, the blood in the river, Now, what exactly happened there? It was a discussion between Pharaoh and Moses and Aaron. Moses and Aaron are representing the Hebrew nation, and Pharaoh is representing the rest of the world. He is the master of the rest of the world. Do you want to see the discussion? You want me to walk on the discussion? I will explain to you step by step. So let's go. I will share the screen and we'll go step by step by that, okay? Just a moment. Okay. Okay. Let's share the screen and let's jump to the let's go step by step. So let's go to Exodus chapter 5. Let's start with chapter 5. In chapter 5, please read verses number 1 and 2.
1. And afterwards Moses and Aaron came and said to Pharaoh, so said the Lord God of Israel, send out my people and let them sacrifice to me in the desert. And Pharaoh said, who is the Lord that I should heed his voice to let Israel out? I do not know the Lord, neither will I let Israel out.
Okay, fair enough. So till now, we see the beginning of this debate. Now, let's go to the 10 pledges and we'll start to understand them. The first one is, we know that Abraham is called the Hebrew man. What is the word Hebrew in Hebrew language? Do you know?
Ivrit.
Ivrit, yes, but what is the word exactly? Ivrit, but it's coming from the word Aber, right? In
You
Hebrew,
explained it to us a long time ago, saying that everybody goes one way and Ivrit goes
so it's
to the
written
other.
down that Abraham was from the other side of the river, okay? All of the world was in one side of the river, and Abraham was the other side of the river. Okay, Abraham was, as he said, from the other side. Ever is the other side. So Moses and Aaron are saying to Pharaoh, they're saying to him, look, we, the Hebrew nation, we are from the other side of the river. So Pharaoh is saying to them, prove me. And they're answering, okay, not a problem. How are they going to prove it? You all know the story. How are they going to prove it?
I have a question there, Rabbi.
Just a moment. How are they going to prove it? In the moment you ask a question, okay? You know, I said he was 80 years old, you see, now he was 83 years old when he stood in front of Pharaoh. We said it. How are they going to show that the Hebrew people are from the other side? Very simple. Okay. Please read verses number 16 and 17.
16, and you shall say to him, the Lord God of the Hebrews sent me to you, saying, send forth my people so that they may serve me in the desert. But behold, until now you have not hearkened. 17, so said the Lord, with this you will know that I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite with the staff that is in my hand upon the water that is in the Nile, and it will turn to blood.
And who was drinking blood? The Egyptians. The Hebrew people were drinking water. So the first thing with the debate that they have, we will show you that we are related with Abraham. You have a question, please? This is the time for a question. If not, we will continue. Please. Yes.
Yeah, on the previous section, when Moses said, if you don't let us go, God will smite us.
God what?
Can we go back? Can we go back to that
Yes.
section again, please?
Yes,
Because
yes,
I don't
yes.
remember the exact words.
This one?
On verse 3, at the end of verse 3, lest he strike us with a plague or with the sword.
If we won't go out, he will kill us. This is what Moses and
The
Aaron are
Hebrews.
saying to, yes,
Yeah.
the Hebrew people. We must go out. If not, God is going to be angry with us. If
But
we are
why
not,
doesn't it say God will be angry with you if you don't let us go?
oh, it also says, okay,
That's
in
where I'm
other
at.
places, but you need to understand who we in a step in the history. Think for a moment, Aaron and Moses and Pharaoh at this point of time before the 10 pledges. Okay, we don't know the rest of the history, what will happen. Today we know what happened, but in those times we didn't know. And we're in a step of the history where the Hebrew people are supposed to go out, okay, and to show to the world that we can, every person here in this world have the possibility of redeeming himself from the laws of nature, also as a nation, as we explained before. Now, if the Egyptians won't let us to go out, they're going to suffer. If we will decide not to go out, the Hebrew nation is going to suffer. This is what it's saying here. Okay, this is the time we're supposed to go out. Now, are we going to do our mission, or are we going to suffer? Oh, the Egyptians are going to suffer. So we said the first pledge was very simple. We are from the other side of the river. So the river here is getting the first pledge, where the Egyptians are drinking the blood, while the Hebrew people are drinking water. We are on the other side of the river, okay? So Pharaoh had also a very interesting question about this. He's saying, okay, I got convinced. You are part of the Abraham from the other side of the river. But Abraham had two sons, right? What are the two sons that he had?
Ishmael.
Exactly, Isaac and Ishmael. Who said that you are continuing Abraham? Maybe the kids of Ishmael are continuing Abraham. You're supposed to stay here in Egypt. The kids of Ishmael, they are going to show or to put the glory of Abraham and all of his ideas to the world.
By
Good
the way,
question.
Rabbi, they're still saying that.
Yeah, I know that they're saying it. It's okay. But it's a good question, right? Right, it's a good question. So what is the answer for that? You remember that Isaac allowed himself to be on the altar and to, I will call it to sacrifice himself in front of God. Remember that? Isaac did it. Ishmael didn't do that, right? So Moses is telling him, okay, not a problem. I will bring here to the environment of the Egyptians, I'll bring the frogs. But those frogs are going to do something very unique. They're going to kill themselves, okay, for the Almighty God. Look, and then you will see, you will understand that we are the continuous of Abraham, not Ishmael, okay? And please look for a moment. It's a previous chapter. Please read verse numbers 27 and 28.
27. But if you refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all your borders with frogs, and the Nile will swarm with frogs, and they will go up and come into your house, and into your bedroom, and upon your bed, and into the house of your servants, and into your people, and into your ovens, and into your kneading troughs.
What is into your ovens? The frogs are willing to kill themselves, okay, to put inside themselves to the altar, okay, for Almighty God, for the Almighty God. So now you're starting to realize that the continuous of Abraham is with Isaac and not with Ishmael. Okay? Starting to realize, we're starting to understand what's happening here. So Pharaoh said to them, okay, fair enough. You managed to convince me. And the continuous of Abraham is with Isaac and not with Ishmael. But Isaac also had two kids. Who are the two kids of Isaac? Jacob and Esau. So you can see, first of all, you can read verse number 4, that he's saying, okay, you managed to convince me, please.
Therefore, Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron, and he said, entreat the Lord that he remove the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let out the people of Israel so that they may sacrifice to the Lord.
Okay, I'm convinced. Fair enough. He's not doing it yet. Okay, don't be afraid. We all remember the story. But he's saying, okay, I got convinced. It's with Isaac. But then he's saying, but who said Isaac also had two? Isaac had Esau and Jacob. So for that, I need to show you for a moment something interesting with Jacob. So we'll start to realize something very important. Let's go for a moment in Genesis, but in chapter 48. Okay. No, sorry. Oh, 47. Please read verse number 29.
29. When the time drew near for Israel to die, he called his son Joseph, and he said to him, if I have now found favor in your eyes, now place your hand beneath my thigh, and you shall deal with me with loving kindness and truth. Do not bury me now in Egypt.
Why? Why not to be buried in Egypt? I will show you Rashi for a moment, okay? It will be much easier for us. What's the time? I won't be able to finish everything today.
I was told that during the times of Mashiach, when the dead becomes alive, he'd have to roll all the way from Egypt to Israel, and that he didn't want to be in the cursed land.
Okay, very nice. You're saying very nice. Please read this for a moment.
Do not bury me now in Egypt, because its soil is destined to become lice, which will crawl under my body, and because those who die outside the Holy Land will not be resurrected, except with the pain of rolling through underground passages, also so that the Egyptians will not deify me.
Okay, so we have three reasons here. The second one is exactly what you said before. And the first one is the thing of the lice. And the last one is that they might do from me, from Jacob, some sort of alien, right? I don't want the Egyptians that they will deify me. I don't want to be one of the aliens. So first of all, we see that it's not the first time. I'll say it like that. We see that already here, 2,000 years before Jesus, it might be that a Jewish that is going to die, you will become an alien to the others. Okay, it's not the first time. It didn't happen the first time with the Jesus. But what is the meaning of this? The lice is something very small. Now let's jump back to what is happening in the next pledge. The next pledge is the lice. Okay, look. After we have the frogs, we're going to please read verse number 12.
12. So the Lord said to Moses, say to Aaron, stretch forth your staff and strike the dust of the earth, and it shall become lice throughout the entire land.
But it's very important here that here we're studying the definition between the Hebrew, I will say, miracle or God is controlling this place with I will say all the people of the Egyptians. Please read verse number 14.
And the necromancers did likewise with their secret rites to bring out the lice, but they could not, and the lice were upon man and beast.
And please read also verse number 15.
15. So the necromancer said to Pharaoh, it is the finger of God, but Pharaoh's heart remained steadfast, and he did not hearken to them as the Lord had spoken.
So we have here something that is, first of all, is related to Jacob. It's not related to Esau. Remember that? A moment ago we read it. It's related to Jacob. They might bring him or do Jacob as some sort of alien and worship him. And also the story of the lice. It's because the lice is something that you can't do this with the necromancers. They can't do it by themselves. It's only the finger of God. It's something that it's a bit.
Well, Rabbi froze. Yeah, I think his point was, the necromancers.
That is related to Jacob.
Oh,
yes.
Sorry, Rabbi, you froze for a second there.
You wanted to ask something. I lost you.
Can you hear me, Rabbi?
I can hear you fine, yes.
Yeah, we lost you. You froze for a minute.
Okay, I'm saying that we see in the next pledge that the Hebrew nation is saying, yes, of course, Isaac had 2 kids, but we are the continuous of Isaac. As you can see, the lies, and that we can do things that is related with God, and you can't do them. And it's related with Jacob, as we saw a moment ago when he asked not to be buried in Egypt. So till now we have the first 3 pledges are trying to show that the Hebrew nation is the unique side of the nation. It's the firstborn of God, I will call it like that. Till now, you're with me? We're starting to understand what's happening here. Now, the problem is that we lost the time. So next time, maybe I need to finish it. All the 10 pledges basically are a big debate between Pharaoh and Moses and Aaron about why do we describe the Hebrew nation as the firstborn of God? And is it right to do that? at the end of this story, I won't be able to go now to all of this. So it's continuing on. Maybe next time we'll continue this. But I want to show you for a moment what is happening at the end. At the end, it's very important because this is after the last pledge where God is killing all the firstborn people. So by the way, we have a song for the young kids that every year in the Leila Seder, in the night of the Passover, we're singing it. We're singing that Pharaoh was running all over Egypt with his pajamas, looking for Moses to send the Hebrew nation out, because Pharaoh also was a firstborn. He was afraid of himself. So Pharaoh was running with his pajamas all over Egypt, looking for Moses and Aaron. But look, what exactly is saying, what Pharaoh is saying when he is releasing the Hebrew nation. But we need to understand this also, because God told him from the beginning, or that you're going to let the Hebrew people to go, or I'm going to kill your firstborn people. Now at the end, if doing a contract, at the end, God killed all the firstborn people from the Egyptians, he did it, he killed them, right? So in the contract, Pharaoh was not supposed to release the Hebrew nation. You with me? You're standing, do you understand what I'm saying? Very simple. God is saying to him, release those people, or I'm going to kill all your firstborn people. At the end, he didn't release, so he killed all the firstborn people, so he's not supposed to release now. Even though, and it's very surprising, you see, and Pharaoh, please read verse 30, 31, and 32, please. Done.
30, and Pharaoh arose at night, and he and
With
all
his
his
pajamas,
servants,
with his pajamas. Yes,
in his
please.
pajamas, yeah, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great outcry in Egypt, for there was no house in which no one was dead. So he called for Moses and Aaron at night, and he said, get up and get out from among my people, both you as well as the children of Israel, and go worship the Lord as you have spoken.
32 also.
32, take also your flocks and also your cattle, as you have spoken, and go, but you shall also bless me.
He wasn't supposed to send us out. He wasn't supposed to send us out, but he did it. But the most important thing is, he realized that the blessing of the world is coming from the Hebrew people. So he said, I'm releasing you with one condition, bless me also. After this big debate that basically the Egyptians lost, it took a year, yes. It took 10 months, yes. Okay, after this big debate, Pharaoh is saying, the truth is I don't need to let you out. I paid my commission. I paid everything. But I'm letting you out because I understand that the blessing is going to come to the world from your nation, and please bless me also. In our tradition, we're saying that Pharaoh, that after 7 days, turned over and again ran after the Hebrew people, and all of his army drowned in the sea. He was the only one that was left. And he became the king of Nineveh, where Jonah went after that, after a few years, a few hundred years, 300 years after that. Jonah came to Nineveh and said to them, you're supposed to do repentance in front of God. And he was the king there. And he said to all of the people, yes, we're going to do this. We're not going to play games with this God. The God of Israel, he is a blessing. We need to listen to him. And Nineveh did repentance in front of God, and they survived. We'll call it like that. So we need to continue on the next continuous of the pledges, exactly to understand all the debate there. But the debate basically is to realize, I will say, a very profound argument with the Egyptians and with the world. Are we under the laws of nature in a way that we cannot break them, we cannot control them, or we are managing to, that the sea will split to two and we will go inside. Now, we don't see all those miracles every year. But if you will look at this for a moment, now we in this side of the history, we're already in the side of history that we can look in a glance of 6,000 years. And we see that the Hebrew nation is in a different, I will say, laws. It's not in the same laws of nature. We're realizing that there is something here with much more blessing than just the strict rules of nature. And this is the main debate between the Hebrew nation and the Egyptians. Therefore, we have a say, Rabbi Cook said it, that the redemption of the Hebrew nation from Egypt is the redemption for the whole world. It's the blessings for the whole world. This is what is teaching the whole world, that we can have the blessing and the redemption for the whole world. Those are the main words of today. I have a few minutes if you want to ask anything or to discuss something, or I have a question to raise. I know.
Rabbi, we are not
just a
on
moment.
for next week.
I remember that now that you also asked me something about face-to-face with Moses. I didn't forget. It will be the next time that we're going to speak. Yes, please, Dan.
We're not on for next week, right?
We won't be able to be on for next week. We are inside.
Passover.
We are fully inside Passover next week. Yes,
All right. Yes.
with my family.
Rabbi,
Yes.
going
Yes.
back to the start of this session, you were saying the discussion in Israel is either going secular or going religious. What effect would that have with the progressive Jews and also Noahides?
Don't be
would it
afraid.
affect them?
Don't be afraid. We're going to be more related with God. Let's go step by step. It won't stop. More than that, I will tell you a secret. We are on the cloud. It's not good. We have also a interesting opening with few ministries in Israel, and the Noahide World Center is going to grow up. I will say more than that. I said it earlier today for some of the people, some of also sitting here. One of the things that is really bothering or is really hard for the Noahide people is the relation with others. Okay, I will call it the loneliness. Now I understand that, but we have few ideas how to break this loneliness, and we're going. We have. I will say it, we have a program how to go one step ahead. And hopefully in another month or something, you will see it also. I already explained it today to some people. Here also, some are sitting here in this class. We showed it's not going to be in one day, okay? It will be a year and a half. But we have ideas, and I don't think that you need to be afraid or to be distracted with this debate inside Israel. The truth is that the elections showed that the people who more, I will say, understand that God is part of the thing here, they won these elections, and this is why we have all those all those demonstrations against it, because people are really, I will say, it's hard for them to realize that the country, the Hebrew country, is also putting God in more presence in the country.
Exactly.
So it's give us the Hebrew nation the time to adjust what we are passing. Feel comfortable. We're not
that
going
makes
to.
sense. Yeah, I mean,
to
from
go.
my understanding, the Hebrews have always been ethno-religious people, and ethno-religious people, they're not just a nation like other nations. They are an ethno-religion. The religion is intermingled with who they are as their identity, and it's a shame even that everybody's entitled to their opinion, but when it's room for or cause for division, I think you guys are sorting through it, and it'll iron out, and we got better days ahead, and we can make the world a better place for sure.
It will take us time. It will take the time that we need to adjust it, but we will find a way. By the way, one of the things that the non-religious, I will say, party in Israel is screaming out all the time is the relationship that we need to have with the rest of the world. While part of the religion people are more inside of themselves. Well, we don't need to speak with the world. So the non-religious people are those who are pushing very much for the Noahide side. We need to understand what's happening here. It's unique to find rabbis who are speaking with the Noahides. Not only in Israel, all over the world. You know this by yourself, how much it's hard for you to go to the next shul and to try to come inside to the shul. The religious side, or those who are more, it's, for them, it's only when the Messiah will come, we will speak with the rest of the world. And they don't understand that it's vice versa, You need to start to speak with the rest of the world. And this is where we will bring the Messiah much more, So this part of the nation that is screaming all the time for more than 60 or more than 50 years, but we need to be also with the connections with the rest of the world. They have a very good point that the religious people are supposed to adjust it also to themselves. Give us the time. We will know how to do this, the Hebrew nation, like we did all the time. Meanwhile,
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes, please.
Rabbi, I'm
Yes.
hit and miss on attending these lectures because I'm afraid of being targeted by the enemies of the Jewish people. Do you understand? Do you understand?
I understand what you're saying, and it's
Okay.
hard for me to hear that. And I will say something like that. Now, if I remember correctly, you have a psychologist degree, right?
Yes. Yes.
And you know, not less than me, that when someone hates someone else, the meaning of this is that it's also can be vice versa to a big love. If he doesn't care for someone else, so he doesn't have any relation with him. But if he hates him, so the meaning of this is that he has some sort of a relation with this other side that he hates. And with the right work, it will become also love. So I'm not, on one side, it's really upsetting me to hear that there is something like that, especially in the United States, in places where people are speaking about freedom, everybody could be in the same level and everything else. But at the end, in the practical side, with the hateness and all of those things. On the other side, I know. We know today that when someone have big hateness, the meaning of this is because he is afraid to become very connected and very loved with the other side. And he doesn't want to, because of all sorts of reasons, but it will happen. So we need to do our best. I'm not telling you at all, okay, to danger your life. If you think that there's something here that is that you might danger your life, so please, it's very important that you will stay alive and everything will be good. On the other side, I'm with a bit of a positive point of view that everything will be in the right way at the end.
Well, here's my concern. If they get to you, and I know there's distress over there and there's violence, if they get to you, they're going to get to the data, and then they'll get to me.
This I understand.
Do you understand?
Yeah, we're protecting the data. Okay, we're not spreading it over at all, and we're doing our best to do for the maximum. If you really want, we can hide the data. We can also remove you from all the records that we have. So it will be only in writing. It won't be, in the old fashion, in papers. We have also the old fashioned thing, papers. and not in the computer, but the Hebrew nation is a startup nation, and we last week there was a big hole in the security of not Google, but that is Bing. Okay, and who found this problem of security? Hebrew, Israeli company, and they connected with Bing, and they said to Bing, "Look, this is the problem," and they fixed it. And so, we're doing our best to try to. But if you want, we can take if it's something on the personal level. You just tell me, send me an email or something, and I will take you down from the names and everything else, and it will be only on the papers in Jerusalem.
Can I still attend?
Of course. What a problem.
I have a dentist that's Muslim.
Sorry?
Muslim. I have a dentist that's Muslim.
Yes.
And I brought up a couple of things with this person, and she got very mad at me.
Wow.
Very mad. Yeah, I'm not going to go back to that person. We have Muslims. We have Ku Klux Klan around here,
Wow.
and yeah. I don't want to be targeted. Especially my wife tells me, "Don't make yourself a target."
She's more than right, and you always need to listen to your wife. Everybody.
Anyway, that's all I had to. That's why you haven't seen me very much. It's just trying to play it safe.
No,
but it would be good if you took me down. I don't even have to email you. Just make me disappear. Okay.
Okay. And I will tell you from the other side, okay, that we also have few Muslims that became Noahides here in Israel.
Yeah.
From the Palestinian people. Mm-hmm. And they are afraid very much.
Yes.
They didn't allow us to take a picture with them, because they're afraid that if it will be known in the public that they became Noahide, their heads won't be connected to their bodies anymore.
Yeah, not good.
Now I'm speaking about honest people or decent people. We have a doctor, someone that he's working as a doctor, healing people in the main also company in Israel. We have 4 main companies in Israel here that are giving the illness and all those things. And he's working in one, and he's also in charge of few towns and everything else. He's a very decent person, but he's afraid that if people will know that he's a Noahide and he's not a Muslim, so they will kill him. So he's not the only one, and I understand exactly what you're speaking about. And we are trying to be very careful, not to danger anybody for those things that we're doing. And it's okay. I will take you down from the computer side, and don't danger yourself. And a good advice for everybody: always listen to your wives.
Yeah, Rabbi, I hear you. I mean, the worst we see up here is yesterday I had Jehovah Witnesses come to the door, and of course I go out there and started a conversation, and they'd never heard of Noahide before, and so we ended up in a conversation, and then my wife came out and dragged me back in. She said, "No, don't even engage, because they write you down and put you on a list. Next thing you know, there's more of them," and yeah. Of course,
but you can give them, always you can give them the Brit Shalom book.
Of course.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Anyways,
yeah,
I'm going to sign off of YouTube, Rabbi, because we're live, and there still might be some questions in the classroom, but they don't want to go public. So I'm going to sign out of the Genesis class for Facebook and YouTube for today.
Okay.
And we will not be having a class next week because of Passover. Plus, I've got to take my wife down to the coast. So,
and Angela, don't forget to
we'll be
hold
back in a
tight.
couple
Mike,
weeks.
he needs to listen to you.